Hey everyone, it's been a while. It's good to be back. So this time, instead of doing Meshuggah analysis, I'm actually going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to produce music that sounds like Meshuggah. So one of my commenters asked me, could you take a scale and build a bunch of Meshuggah riffs from scratch? And having spent years of my life and many hours on YouTube describing how to write Meshuggah riffs or how to understand Meshuggah riffs, I am putting my money where my mouth is. So I have produced a short track in the style of Meshuggah in the year 2000 or so. I paid a guy on Fiverr for the vocals and he killed it. So you can either skip to the end of the video and have a listen to the full thing, or you can check out the SoundCloud link in the description. So yeah, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the scales I've said that Meshuggah use all the time, and then write some riffs around it. But hopefully by the time you've watched this, you're going to see that basically if you take the basic Meshuggah rhythm concepts from Metal Music Theory's excellent video, and you combine it with the half-whole diminished scale for note choice, you basically get something that sounds pretty much like Meshuggah, which is kind of awesome. So without further ado, let's look at the riffs. Okay, so here's the first riff. It's kind of the intro riff and also the chorus riff. And the way this riff works is the very first riffs I showed in this lesson series are just a tritone. So that's a note and the note that's 6 frets higher. So in this case, it's my open low 7th string and the note in the 1st fret of the 6th string. So those make a tritone. So I'm playing the higher note here as an octave, and the lower thing I have a power chord, but really it's kind of like a 2-note riff. So I would encourage you, if you want to write riffs like Meshuggah, there are probably still a few good riffs that are literally just like 2 notes out there. And this one is one of mine. Then, to build up a little bit of suspense before the first verse, I have this chromatic riff. So chromatic just means every color, so you can use every single note. Now, generally speaking, that's a pretty broad advice, right? So just use whatever notes you want isn't very useful. So what I've done is I've just created a simple climbing pattern. So first I start on the 2nd fret and climb 1 note, then 3 notes, and then 4 notes, right? So it's very, very straightforward. And then I've got some dead notes here to fill up the space. The verse riff is a pretty simple development. It's more dead notes and bent notes. But this time I'm using the half-whole diminished scale. So that means I'm starting on B flat, or A sharp as it says on my fretboard here. I'm taking the 1st, 3rd, and 4th frets, and that's it. That's what all the notes this riff is based around. And that kind of has that classic Meshuggah sound to me. For the bridge riff, which becomes the riff under the guitar solo, I wanted something slightly simpler because I didn't want too much of a melody line going, because of course I want my lead guitar or the vocals to be kind of the a center stage. So this is just a tritone, this time played as a chord this time, and some open strings muted. So as for the solo, what I'm doing is I'm improvising in B flat melodic minor. So I've kind of put a tab up there for the people who want to play along. I'm doing a little bit of word painting, so where I've taken the lyrical theme and I've put it into the music as well. So the lyrical theme is ascension, so I've taken that very literally. I've done a guitar solo that starts with an ascending scale run and ends with an ascending scale run. And then also the general direction of the solo is slowly upwards. I threw in some things that were kind of inspired by Frederick's kind of melodic soloing, and also by his kind of broken robot guitar solos as well. And that last lick is kind of trying to blend that kind of like Sean Lane Sheets of Sound thing as well, because obviously I got a lot of love for Mr. Sean Lane. So then we've got a clean break. So this is like the multi-layered guitar parts in the clean breaks in Obzen. So what I did was I kind of split it into just a couple of very simple fragments. So the highest voice plays this little dissonant chord here. If this C at the top was a C sharp, so the highest pitch note, if that was 1 fret higher, we'd have the chord from Straws Pulled at Random. So I'm being pretty upfront about my influences here. This is kind of like the slightly darker cousin of that chord. And we're also slowly moving from that kind of B flat sound to a kind of F sound, because when I get to the last riff, it's going to be an F. I'm going to use the 8th string. So I'm kind of trying to set that up now. And then the lowest pitch guitar basically plays the open low F for the whole section, apart from this very end where it plays a little fragment of the half whole diminished scale, kind of like that 0, 1, 3, 4 fret idea that we're talking about here. I just descend 4th fret, 1st fret, and the next note is going to be the open low string when the heavy riff hits. So this outro riff is my favorite riff on the song, and it just takes the ideas we've already explored with the diminished scale and just takes them one level higher. So I could take the half whole diminished scale, this time starting on the lowest note on the guitar, because why not? Right, I'm not actually going to use more notes than this. I'm just going to octave displace them. So I could say move this note up maybe 1 octave or maybe 2. What about this note? Like maybe the same. I'll move that up. This one I'm going to use sometimes up 1 octave and sometimes all the way up 2. Right? So if I use any of these, it's the same notes as these 4 on the bottom string. I've just moved them up octaves. Hence I've octave displaced them. So if we look at this riff, right, we've got the first note is the low F. This is F up an octave. This is B. This is our tritone that we've been kind of like, we started the song with a tritone, now we're kind of ending it with a big tritone. And I hold that for ages. And then these 3 notes, right? So this is the same note as the 1st fret note moved up 2 octaves. This is the same fret note as the 1st fret note moved up 1 octave. This is our 4th fret note. Right? This is the same as our 1st note up 2 octaves. This is our 1st fret note up an octave. This is our lowest note. This is the 4th fret note up 2 octaves. So I didn't think about it like that at the time, right? Like I just knew the sound I wanted, and it took me a little while to find it on the fretboard. But it's funny that it just goes to show how effective, you know, half whole diminished scale and octave displacement are in sounding like Meshuggah, because this is an absolute, like, straightforward example of exactly that songwriting technique. Yeah, so what follows now is the song in its entirety, with some cool graphics and the lyrics. I could explain the lyrics if people are curious, but I think lyrics are kind of like jokes. If you have to explain them, they're no good. These are also probably no good, but I had a tremendous amount of fun making this track. So I hope I did a good job explaining how to simply take a scale and build out basic Meshuggah style riffs from it. Thank you.
and torture. My very thoughts may strange, agony drives me outwards. My demons unknown, I track the void. I move on phantom nerves, agonize into action. Layers of remote glimpses of nirvana, eternal insensible. My desires ever walk, I will expose my imperfections. Layers of remote glimpses of nirvana, eternal insensible. Reborn as a council, an undeniable mission. I burn away anti-focus, that's on the war of nothingness. Myself, self-expression. I am the devil path. I fly on waves of black. That's still irresistible. Millions of remote glimpses of nirvana, eternal insensible. My desires ever walk, I will expose my imperfections. Millions of remote glimpses of nirvana, eternal insensible. Fallen into a fresh abyss, I sink to once again reiterate, rebuild, reform, realize my ascension.